Alright, so on this video we're going to talk about what each of the super trend strategy parameters means and how that changes depending on how you set those. So first is we're going ahead and opening a new chart. We're going to go ahead and open NQ, right? Uh, Again, you can use any type of equity stocks or ETFs. For this sake, we are using futures just because NinjaTrader is known for trading futures. But if you have the multi-broker of the NinjaTrader version, then you can use also normal equities, like Amazon's, the Teslas, the Apples, and whatnot. So for the sake, we're just doing the NQ, right, which is the futures market. The value we're going to set it up to 120. I've noticed that higher time frames for this strategy tends to be a lot more profitable than lower, time frame. For example, seconds or minutes. They equals to 1 through maybe 10 minutes. Anything above 10 minutes, I see the strategy being a bit profitable, a bit more profitable. So the higher the time frame you have, the more profitable of a probability that you will have success with the strategy. And this is based on my experience. You might have a different experience based on the parameters that you have set, but just know that I do have the parameters set pretty high when it comes to how I trade. So the next thing that is very important that you know that number of days that you want to load. I suggest that you load a minimum of 30 to 60 days. What I like to do is the more days that you have loaded up, the more data that the algorithm is able to gather and able to determine the best MFE and the best MAE and the OTT strategy. I guess signals, and then from using all that data, it's able to determine those parameters for those things. So we're going to go ahead and move forward and let the chart load up. I'm not sure. Oh, I see why. I loaded up the wrong expiration, I'm sorry, the wrong contract. So we're doing NQ's June 21st, right? So here is load up to 90 days. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up, look at the strategy, right click, and then we look at the strategy, and we're going to look at the specific parameters. I'm not going to load up anything. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about each of those things. This is a super trend strategy. When it comes to the super trend, this is what the super trend indicator is. This is what I use from super trend period to change the ATR calculation. I wouldn't suggest anybody to change that. If you optimize it and it shows that, by checking this off, it shows the algo to be a lot more profitable, then by all means go ahead and do it. So just be aware of that. So this is the OTT, which is the optimized trend tracker. This is on a daily and this is on a 4-hour. So depending on what you have checked off here, right? Obviously this is only the default one, but you need to make sure that whether you have it on a daily or on the 4-hour, right, that you have one of them checked off, not both of them like how we had it. Okay, so it's very important that whether you're going to use that. So if you're using the daily, then you want to look at only the daily parameters, right? And if you're using the 4-hour optimized trend tracker, that you're only changing the 4-hour OTT parameters. Okay. The highlighter, this is basically the indicator. You want to show the the little highlight area, the show and buy signals. If you want the chart to show the the buys and sell signals, I suggest you keep those on. The plot indicator, I wouldn't. It just depends. Sometimes it slows the software down. This is a feature that I created, that I scripted into the Autobot, and gave the user the option whether to turn that off and to turn it on. And the reason that I made that feature is because, again, when you're optimizing it or when you're back testing it or even when you're running it, it tends to run the software a little bit slower just because it's doing a lot of background calculations. So the less indicators, the less drawing that the software is able to avoid, and it's able to focus on the most important thing. So you don't want to use too many resources. You don't want to make your computer too slow where it's going to be lagging and it's not going to be giving you the best results, right? So this is the stop loss, very much what the stop loss takes, the take profits takes. And again, this is based off of the MAE and the MFE. The MAE and the MFE method, we keep that as 2. This right here is going to change. So you're going to see that it's not always going to be at 45 ticks, or it's not always going to be on, the take profit is going to be at 25 ticks. It's going to determine what is the best parameters based on the MAE and MFE parameters off of the last 10 positions that it has, right? The average of the last 10 of the MAE and MFE from that data bank is going to determine what the best parameters are. So we could go ahead and give it a start of what we want the stop loss and take profits are, but just know that that is going to change. And this right here is pretty much if you want the parameter. If you just are biased, short bias, and you just like taking shorts, and you just want the the algo to just take shorts no matter what, then you could just have that enabled, right, and disable longs, or you could do the vice versa, right? Again, this is the MAE method. We want to make sure we keep that on. If you want to disable that, if you want to turn that off, you turn that into a 0, and it turns that off, and it pretty much disregards all of this right here, right? So actually up to this right here, and I'm gonna up to here, right? So and now I'm gonna explain what this 2 parameters. Change that back to a 2, and I'm gonna explain what this 2 parameters pretty much calculate. This is the maximum number of consecutive losses. So let's say the algo takes 2 losses, or I'm sorry, in this scenario, right? In this parameter, the algo is not going to allow no more than 3 consecutive losses. So if it has 3 consecutive losses, then the algo is going to turn off, and it's going to skip at least 3 trades before it turns back on, or before it executes another trade, right? Another example, let's say I have here 5, right? Let's say I want to set up to 5. If it has 5 consecutive losses, then it's going to skip 3 and then start over again. And if it has another 5 consecutive losses, then it's going to skip 3 trades. It's not going to, if it a signal, Autobot gives a buy signal or a sell signal, and it keeps the the Ninja Trader to go ahead and execute a trade. It's not going to trade it because it's said that it's going to skip 3 trades. It's not going to allow any trades to be executed in the next 3 trades, right? From any prompted sell or buy signals. Again, we could make this even more. We could do 10, right? We could have the Autobot skip, and skip 10 trades, and 20 or 30, whatever that you want. We could set that up, and this is a good way for us to practice in walking away when we're having a bad day. So this is why this parameter was set. If the strategy is having a bad day and it's not the market trends of that day is not ideal for this Autobot, then you could go ahead and disable that, right? If it has more than 5 consecutive days, or 5 consecutive losses, or even 2 consecutive losses, then you could have the algo say, you know what, don't do any more trades. We could have this set up to 30, skip 30 trades, and it's not going to have any executed trades for that day, because obviously 30 trades, it's will take longer. So this is something that you could enable that. Here I just have the default 3 and 3, right? And you could change that. This is the account that you want to set up. So if you have different accounts, if you have just you know, you need to make sure that you have the right account set up if you want a specific, whether you have a multi-broker, to make sure that you have the right account set up, right? And then this is very important. Obviously, if you want the, you know, the strategy enabled, then you can make sure that you enable that with the plot indicator. We want the plot indicator on, and we'll turn it on right now. Just give me a second. The only thing that I would suggest is if you have an exit on session trade, it would give you different outcomes, because what it's going to do is going to exit before the day ends, or before the, you know, the end of the trading session. So if you are a trader who holds overnight, whether it's one position of the NQ or one position of the MNQ, which is the micro NQs, then you'll have that turned off, right? You'll have that turned off, and it will keep continuing to hold that trade for you and not take you out at the end of the day. So it's very important at the exit session whether you determine whether you're going to have it on or off, right? So here we're just going to have it turn on. We're going to have the plot indicator on. Again, just for this example, and just for you to know how the indicator works, I'm just going to have the plot indicator turned on, just, you know, for the sake of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and enable that. Hopefully we'll have, you know, so this is, you know, perfect. You know, this is based off of 120 minute, and then again, right now we're at a bearish market. So what the OTT, which is optimized trend tracker, what it's doing here is only up to this day, right? It's only giving me short executions because it's a bearish market. See, we had here a short, here we had a perfect long, but you know, the trend tracker said no, we're at a bearish markets, we're only going to take shorts. And here obviously it wasn't a good trade, so they didn't take anything. Here it took a short, but obviously it turned, we had a stop loss. We're turning into a bearish market, and again, this is based off a 4-hour trend. So a daily trend, see, the 4-hour trend. So the daily trend might give you a better indication of whether market is on a daily chart instead of a 4-hour chart. Let me see. So yeah, so short, 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 short. So it's, and then now it's, you know, showing that it's more of a it's starting to become a more of a bullish market. So now it's taking long positions here, right? So it really depends on the trend tracker whether it's only going to take short positions or long positions, and then from that data set, that's where the, you know, the strategy is going to decide whether it's only going to take short or long positions. Okay. Let me just double check, just make sure that I went through all the parameters, the important parameters that you want to, and then here obviously, oh, I'm sorry, per strategies here, default quantity. This is based on how many positions that you want to take, right? This is one position. Obviously, if you're, you know, trading in, you know, normal equities, then you want to do 100 or 150. For the NQ, you know, usually people tend to take, you know, 1 or 2, you know, positions, size positions, and then the micro NQs, you know, of course, a little bit, you know, larger size positions depending on how big your account is. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to email me. For the people who have purchased this strategy, you know, you have my number. You know, you feel free to give me a call. More than happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, bye-bye.